of what's happening on getting these reports out?
Well, my responsibility is to produce those reports. And I do generate the reports, and they're sent out to our board of directors. And I believe those went out Wednesday evening. As far as posting online, that's not really what I do. So I'm not absolutely sure the timing of when items would be posted or what items are posted. The reports, for this board meeting, I'm not absolutely certain which reports would be posted or are being asked to be posted. I heard, the cash summary, which shows all the detail, all the income that we receive at the agency. We don't generally post that on our website, although we have provided it via records requests. So there might be a difference between the expectation of what reports are going to be put out on our website and what we normally would provide on the website.
Okay.
Some of the financials are somewhat in the nature of a draft until the board sees them, in case we see errors or corrections that need to be made. And some of the financials are also, as Paul pointed out, basically internal working data, which there is a limit to how much can usefully be posted, but I think that's something that maybe you, as chair of the board, and Ken can go over as to what are the most useful things for public posting, just in terms of usability and ability to understand what the numbers actually mean without text and so on.
Okay. Then, excuse me for cutting you off.
No, that's fine.
That's it. And
well, I think Ms. Lauderdale's question was the timing of the reports that were put on the website, and I think that when we get to Resolution 115, where we're changing the meeting times, the purpose of changing our meeting times to the fourth Friday is to enable the reports to be posted and to the board up to a week ahead of time, so we have time to schedule it. And I think that would make it easier for the public to see what is posted online too, because when you send them to us, they should be posted at the same time, correct?
Okay, so any, from what I'm understanding is that anything that is sent to our board members would then be also posted on the website? Is that
would be reasonable.
I would prefer that, and in the alternative, to at least highlight it as a draft. Because if it comes out as a draft, and when it comes out, everybody's not going to instantly sit down and look at this thing and pick it apart. Sometimes we don't get to it for a day or two. I would much rather, and with your guidance, Ken, to at least highlight the draft across that, and then any adjustments that we make between that time in a public meeting, and then the final copy is the one that gets passed, approved here. Does that make sense? And legal, probably, you have a comment on that?
No, but it's, the meeting minutes is kind of the classic one where post or not to post has been kind of debated. It's definitely within the realm, if you mark it as draft, it's perfectly fine to post.
Then a comment that I have, or an observation on this report is, I understand that you can't compare one transit district exactly the same as all of the others, but there are some similarities in here. And Island Transit is similar in size to, I had some of these other ones marked in here, showing what the revenue side is and what the expense sides are. And I think when you look through this, the trend on this, comparing all of them regardless of the size, is the districts that are charging fares are collecting between 10 and 12% of their expenses. And between 10 and 12% of their expenses is is, in my opinion, better than zero. So as we go forward, and you will hear a little bit later in this meeting what our stabilization plan is going to represent. And we are not committing to fairs right now, but we're also not, we're not saying we're not going to have fairs. Okay, we're looking at all of the revenue possibilities. We have to close some of this gap. So that's all I have on that item. And these are available, by the way. This report is available to the public. You know, you can do your own analysis on that and ask questions on it. It's actually pretty good information.
Data is from 2013, I believe.
Mine says December 2014.
But it's the previous year's data.
Okay,
Yeah.
but does this set a trend? You know, I'm looking for trends. I'm not looking for exact numbers. I'm
Sure.
looking for trends.
Mr. Chair, in relation to the conversation of what financial documents are put online, I would like to propose to the board that the Finance Committee meet and make a recommendation to this board to determine what documents are put online. Obviously, anything can be public record requested. People can see things when they come out in their packet, but there might be a desire of the Finance Committee to discuss with the financial officer and the executive director about the appropriateness of timing of some things, and other related issues. And so if it is okay with the board, the Finance Committee would like to talk about that and make a recommendation as to what documents go forward on the website.
Would you care to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that the Finance Committee be tasked with making a recommendation to the board next month on what documents should be put on the website as it relates to the financials.
Is there a second?
Sure. I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion made by Ms. Johnson and a second by Mr. Hanold for the, let me try to repeat that long motion. The Finance Committee review the finance documents and make a recommendation before they are posted on the public, to the public.
We're going to make a recommendation to this board about the documents that we recommend get posted in advance of the meeting. Repeatedly.
That's the motion. Excuse me,
Sure.
formality.
Good.
You got it,
Do you
Meg?
have that? Okay.
Meg's on it.
All right. There's a motion and there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. It's unanimous. So we'll move on to the next item. Other items. System statistical comparison report. That's basically what you did in your report. Is that?
Mr. Chair, we do have a very important presentation to provide the board under the operations report.
Oh, excuse me. I did jump down past that. I think we, sorry. So please take that.
We are presenting to the board and to the public the findings and proposals prepared by staff in recognition of the cuts that were originally implemented last July and last September relative to the budget issues at the time and the concerns to bring the budget back into some balanced form, and to attempt to better serve riders, but at the same time returning a reasonable level of service. The operations department has been reviewing since last fall options to bring back service to areas that were reduced last year, but at the same time with the primary goal being to stay in budget stay within budget of the 2015 budget as approved by the board. So the operations department took on a very critical task, a very in-depth task, going to the public, going to our employees, going to the board, and working with various other groups and entities, agencies, to come up with a plan that could restore service to most of the areas that were affected by cuts last year. So we have a presentation here by the Operations Department, Mr. Harris, and this reflects what we have developed as a proposal and presented to the public, and hopefully will gain the approval of the board for implementation in another couple of months. So with that, Sean?
So we held several meetings throughout Whidbey Island, and I wanted to give the board some of the highlights or some of the comments from the public. Here on Whidbey, they were very vocal about the 411 service and letting us know how vital it was for different reasons: schools, jobs, medical, and shopping, and etc. Saturday service was mentioned in every meeting. Public let us know they would want us to bring that back as soon as possible. Almost every meeting, the folks were happy to see the proposed route, which you'll see shortly on the 58 for the south end, of bringing back or restoring some of the service. Residents asked us to consider school schedules, food bank schedules, senior center lunches, and other important community events. And on Camano Island, they were very vocal, and they actually had 50 people in attendance at the meeting, which pretty much was more than the other 6 meetings all combined on Whidbey. And some of their comments were to maintain the current level of the 411C. They said it was very important for us to understand the link between Camano Island and Mount Vernon, and for the commuters who use the bus. Saturday service, 412, the county connector, also was brought up, and they talked about opportunities in Everett and the kids going to school. And one thing I thought was important was that they brought up if they didn't have the opportunity to, the kids didn't have the opportunity to go down to Everett, a lot of them wouldn't be able to attend school. There aren't a lot of jobs on Camano, and so it just creates a domino effect. One of the biggest things was that they wanted more communication. They want to be a part of Island Transit. They didn't want to be left out of the conversation. And with that, we kind of came up with quarterly meetings that the staff would hold on Camano, just to let them know what's going on. And we talked kind of about some of the priorities for Camano as far as Saturday service and service restoration. I also provided 2 handouts, and this would be the first handout. It's the summary of ridership. And I wanted to bring to your attention the colored graph. And in the blue, it shows our fixed route from last year in 2014 and what the average number of riders are per day in 2015. And the ridership fell off, which we understand from the cuts. But what's significant to this is if you look in the green, our paratransit has continued to climb. So even though we've made cuts to paratransit, it's going to be a trend that's going to continue until we are able to put some stipulations and have that conversation on how we handle our paratransit service going forward. We also provided a map of our county connections, and pretty much what it is, it's a 4-county connection map with Whatcom, Skagit, Community, and Island. And as you can see there, Snohomish County and Stanwood in the blue, that is the only area where there would be any overlapping service. The other areas are all just connections with the other agencies. And that area in Stanwood is one downtown loop, a couple of blocks. So with that being said, I want to introduce our planning team, which is Nick Pinch and Karen Cross. These folks have been working right up to the meeting and attended all of the community meetings. They've been working very hard to get this information and these enhancements going. So I'll introduce the All-Stars.
So I'm going to go over a presentation here of our proposed system enhancements. Lauren, I'm going to hand out to each board member copies of all the slides from the presentation. And if you have questions on a particular slide, we could certainly pause it and discuss it. However, at the end of the presentation, there'll be plenty of time to answer questions. And then we can also refer back to previous slides to discuss them in detail if you'd like.
Can you turn the slide on, please?
Can you all see the screen? Okay, where you are?
So first of all, I'd like to go over a bit of the history, explaining exactly why we're here today. So effective September the 1st, 2014, Island Transit was forced to modify, reduce, and suspend several routes across Whidbey and Camano Islands. The county connectors were also affected by route reductions, and our Saturday services were canceled as a whole. As a result, 23